introduce it. It's on the call, so it's introduced to us what it does. So it is very, very nice to have you guys here. Welcome back, and I hope to. And again, one thing that I want you guys to do is you can share you can take pictures and then share it online, what you are learning, how it has been. We actually need that review so that we can know that we are actually the work we're putting in is actually working, so that others that also want to learn can also know that this type of stuff is happening. I mean, thank you very much once again. And I would like to invite Gideon or Dekina to come on stage to introduce himself. So, Gideon, are you here?
Yes, I am.
Thank you. Well, please introduce yourself to all.
All right, thank you very much, Ahmed, for starting us off. And thank you very much for those kind words. Hi, everyone. I am excited to be here. My name is Gideon Odekena, like Ahmed already said. I'm a data scientist. I'm a data science educator. I'm enthusiastic about emerging technologies around AI, Web3, and I got into the Web3 space early 2024. We're trying to solve a problem, and I have not looked back ever since. And I'm excited to be continuing from where we left off last week. So, last week, we introduced the concept of blockchain, how it works, and how transactions work on the blockchain. This week we will be pivoting a bit into how we can handle blockchain with analytics. So we would get to understand what analytics is and why it's used. Everyone on the call, hopefully, will set up a Dune account if you haven't, and then navigate the interface. Yeah, it's fine. So we have a hybrid setup, so we're trying to make sure that things are okay on site and then remotely as well. So we will pick a particular blockchain network. We'll talk about the Ethereum data structure and the Ethereum blockchain and explore certain data structures like the transactions, the blocks, the logs. And we will also attempt to, all of us, we will be writing, basic SQL queries that will include things like select, where, order by, and limit. Very, very basic. And then we would execute and interpret whatever query we run. Now, it's also important for us to have a sense of how dashboards work, and hopefully we will get to that point as well. All right, so if you are excited if you are as excited as I am, React, I would like to see your excitement level before we commence. I cannot see your faces. Yes, hey, Opansa, I see you. Nicholas, I see you. Awesome. All right. As I cannot see your faces, but I can tell that you are excited, even more excited than myself. So let's do this, right? All right. So we've had the introductions. I want to just generally ask. You can put up your hand. Whether you are here with me in person or over the call, have you used Dune before? Ever? Awesome. Uh, who has used Dune before or written an SQL query before? Okay, you've written an SQL query. Awesome. So I'll be watching the call to see. I'll be watching the call. Okay, yes. Onwaha Nicholas. Awesome. So is that yes or have you used Dune and or have written a query or yes to both?
No, not at all. I've not done any of them. Do you understand? I've not done
Oh,
any
okay.
of them. So this is my first time. So this is my first time interacting with Doom. So I
Awesome.
just want to, yeah. So.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Now, Nicholas, do you have your computer with you? Or are you joining in on your phone?
Yeah, I have my laptop with me. I have my
Awesome.
laptop with me.
Awesome. So it's good that you're set up so that we can do this together, right? Okay, so um I mean Dune is a platform. Is a platform and what it does is it allows anyone to query and visualize blockchain data. If once I share my screen and I show you around the Dune platform, you would realize that it's primarily Ethereum using SQL. We have Dune wizards here, and we will discuss why it is primarily Ethereum. Another thing that Dune lets you do is that it is community driven. So you have community driven dashboards, community driven queries, and you can it's there in the public. You can pick it and reuse it. It's also useful for analysis that require transparency, things that require research, whether it is DeFi, decentralized finance, or you're trying to track NFTs. It's almost always possible that a query or a dashboard has been written for a specific thing. So what you mostly will need to do is pick it up and then adapt it for what you want. And if you feel like that query or that dashboard has not been built, you can still do it. And I mean, you can be the first to build that flavor of query, and then people pick it up and then they use it. So the blockchain is you can think of it as a very big data bank or a very large database where all the transactions that happen on chain are being logged there. It is the job a of an analytics person to go into the blockchain and then pick the desired columns or the desired tables and then make something out of it. Turn all those numbers, all those records to something that is useful that can actually inform the business. Certain use cases we'll be looking at are so when people start to track daily active wallets users on a platform like a protocol like Uniswap, for example, you start to track how active are they on this platform? Are they using it only once, or are they using it on a regular basis? You can also identify who the top NFT minters or traders are, and you can analyze smart contract usage or even how the gas fees are used. Right. Yeah. At this point, I'm going to be walking you through, since we're going to be using the Dune platform, I'm going to be walking you through how to set up um, a Dune account. So I'll be sharing my screen for that, and I'll be logging out of my own Dune so that we can all do it together. So let me. Yeah. Sorry, guys, just a moment. We have a couple of participants that just joined in, so they're trying to settle in. Um, yeah. All right, guys. Apologies for the delays. I'll go ahead and share my screen and show everyone how to set up. All right, I want to confirm if you can see my screen for those who are online. Awesome, awesome. Can you see my screen? Can you see clearly? Great. So if you do not have a Dune account, if you go to dune.com, it will bring you to this tab. The tab you see, the page you see right here. Now, if you already have an account, okay, so this is Dune Sim. Dune Sim is an offering from Dune where they allow you to, it's basically for developers, where you have different chains that you can work it together. So you might want to check it out, maybe read the documentation. Now, here is what you will do if you're opening this for the first time. Now, have you all navigated to Dune.com? We all have internets. Is that a yes or a no? Okay, no. Okay. Not yet. Okay. I want to be sure we're all on this page. All right, so what you would want to do if you're right here. Okay, how many of us have gotten to this place? Okay, how is it going? Network. Okay. All right, so the first place you want to be at is Dune.com, and it brings you right here. Now you can simply sign in, even if you've not signed up before. So you can use your Google account to sign in, or you can use your GitHub. So your Google account will be is mostly loaded in your Chrome browser. So you can just select that option. So I will sign in. Now, I already have a profile. If you do not have a profile, you will want to sign in with Google, or you might want to sign in with Google, or you can use the sign up option that lets you, start to create a new profile. Now it's easier for you to just sign in with Google so that you can, it makes authentication really easy. So of those who doesn't have an account yet, for those who have opened it here. Okay. How is your network? Awesome. Now, have you signed in with your Google account? What can you see? Who is finding it difficult to sign in or sign in? Anybody? Is anybody finding it difficult to sign in online? Please let me know. So I wouldn't go ahead to sign in with Google because I already have a profile that is tied to the Google account. So I'm just going to select it. So this is my own profile. And okay. Just a little bit of security check. So that no company that is trying to sign into my account. All right, so this is the first thing you will see. I hope you have gotten to the point where you are signed in and then you will see this page. So this is the home page. Who has gotten this far? Awesome. Who is trying to get here? Okay. Is it network still? You're going to get there. Okay, so let me check the comments here. Well, network may not always be the best for we manage. All right, so a couple of things. The first one I would want us to take a look at is the place that says content. Now, when you're on content, this is to the right, you will see a list of dashboards. So anything that has any item that has four squares like so is a dashboard. And a dashboard is a visual representation of a report. So it's a visual representation of an insight. The main idea here is to take blockchain data in whatever form it is, whether it's a smart contract or in whatever form it is, and generate insights from it that will solve a problem. It doesn't always begin with the data. It usually starts with a problem and then objectives, and then you pick up the data because it is the problem that informs the data you will pick up. So you pick up the data and then you select the columns you need, and then you will now create a visual from it. So let me give you guys an example. There are a couple of things happening on, especially if you're having the bull run season. A couple of things. Okay, somebody said I'm not showing my screen. Who else cannot see my screen online? Right, so you might be in the bull run season and a lot of activity will be happening, particularly one of with a certain cryptocurrency, say Ethereum or Bitcoin. You want to understand what users are doing with this particular cryptocurrency or with this token. It is important for you to collect that. It will be important for you to collect the data from the blockchain and then try to visualize it, because the best way to make people believe is when they see, right? They say seeing is believing. So what you see right here is, or a list of blockchain dashboards rather. So if I click on one of these dashboards, you will see a lot of visuals. So sometimes it will start with, a report giving you details about what you expect, and then you start to take a look at it. So it is usually charts, line charts. Now this on the x-axis or on this horizontal pane you see here, you will see you will see things that have to do with time. So we will be mostly looking at how activities change as time passes. So you will see something happening from May 7th to May 31st, so perhaps the end of the entire month. And then sometimes you will see cards that just tell you the numbers. So these are numbers of specific numbers related to an activity. To be more specific, this research was for tracking adoption metrics for a particular token. It's important to always track adoption metrics because you want to see how well how well the project you've introduced is being received by users. So that's the idea behind adoption. So it's one of the trending dashboards, and if you want to get a sense of how dashboards trend, you will typically see it by the number of stars it has. So you see the stars, so these stars is mainly community consensus in a way to tell you that, look, I checked this out and it is useful for me. So if I think it's really useful, I'll come here and just start. And the person now has 18 stars, right? And so you will see so like this one now has 6,000 stars. So it means that a lot of people came, they checked it out, and they thought it was really, really insightful, really helpful for their own process. So they came and started. I'm going to pause in and ask. So a dashboard will typically comprise of different visuals put together that will be giving us a complete picture of what is happening in the project. So you would have line charts, you would have cards, you would have histograms, depending on the data type you are trying to that you are working with and information that you want to present. Question. I'm going to pause and ask if you have any questions, and if you don't, I'll ask questions. Somebody asking something in the back. All right, so you can also explore your Dune interface or your Dune platform. You can look for creators. So they call them Dune wizards. So by the end of the day, it's expected that you become Dune wizard as well. So whoever has a Dune account and may have run one query has become a Dune wizard. So here you will see creators. And again, there is some form of ranking due to activity or due to how relevant their activity is. So under creators, you will see them, and you can. Oh, Dune Africa actually has a team, so I'll share the link to you so that you can join the team and then collaboratively, make specific dashboards, especially the ones that are tailored to our own ecosystem. So that's what you will see on that creator. So for creators, you will see the people building the dashboards. If you click it, you will go straight to that profile. All right. So you can also check out the links. So right here, you will see noted. I will try to raise my voice. Thank you for that feedback. All right. So sometimes, or when you click on blockchains, you will see a list of all the chains, all the blockchains that you can start to work with on Dune. Um, the reason why I tell you that we'll primarily be looking at Ethereum is because a lot of work has actually been done on Ethereum. If you take a look at the screen and compare the numbers, you can actually see that how many dashboards have been built with Ethereum on this platform. Yes. And then how many wizards are here, or how many creators? Yeah. And then about 307,000 stars have been received. Have been received because of the work that has been done on the Ethereum chain. All right, so questions, guys. Okay, so I'm going to take you guys straight to where you can actually create. So we'll look at the Ethereum blockchain closer. And to do that, we'll go to new or create rather the plus button here that says create. And you select new query. Now, once you select new query, it will take you to this pane where you can actually write SQL. And before we write any SQL at all, I'm going to take us through the raw Ethereum blockchain data so that we can actually see what is inside before we can even start to query it. Right. Now, if you want to take a look at what is happening within the Ethereum blockchain data before you even start to query it, under the Data Explorer, I'd like you guys to go under the heading where it says blockchain data and select raw blockchain data. Yes.
I think it's
Yes. What you go to so there's a certain way you should do it. Can I take a look? Okay. So just a moment. Yeah. So it's the lowercase that's the uppercase you have. That is the problem.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So who has gotten to where it says Data Explorer, raw blockchain data? Are we there?
Yes.
Awesome. So let's navigate. Let's find Ethereum. Let's find Ethereum. I mean, it's going to be it is the first one that you will see. So let's find Ethereum. Now I think I kind of jumped the gun, so I'm going to take a little bit of time to give you guys an overview of data analysis. I'm going to give you guys a general overview of what happens in with data analysis before we come back here. Now,
System authentication letters.
Authentication letter basically. It will you assist me. Now, the idea behind data analysis is a field of research, first of all. It's a field of research and it is aimed at trying to solve a problem. So they usually begins with a problem, and it is the process is led by data. It's led with data to find answers to solve that problem. So let me give you guys an example. Very, very typical example in business. So what is one problem? Who does business here? Okay, what business do you do?
I sell letters.
What problem do you think what problems have you encountered in your business? Damn it.
Or pricing and also
Customer relationship. Okay, do you usually do you think that it will be nice for you to retain your customers? So customers that you currently have, you keep them as returning customers, and new customers are bringing more customers. So that's one thing that people who do business always encounter. So customer retention and all of that. Now, the one way to achieve customer retention will be for you to even know your customers, know the products you sell and how they fit. So that the process of finding, knowing your customers, knowing what they like, knowing how your product fits them, is you collecting data, using that data to go through a process of doing research and answering, okay, so now at the end of the day, what you are going to get is insights saying that, look, if I smile more, so this is very high level, but the insight is if I smile more, or if I send them more personalized messages every month, I will be able to retain these customers because they will get the sense that I actually like them, and they would want to do business with me. So that's the idea. So the idea behind data analysis is it helps, it helps to, it is a data-driven approach, driven by facts, to help you meet business objectives. Whatever business objectives you have, you take your data and then you go through the process of research, So your research will start from a problem definition, objectives, business understanding, data understanding, and then it is when you have the data, then you now go through this process of putting the data in the machine and letting the machine do the heavy lifting for you. At the end of the day, as the data analyst, data scientist, at the end of the day, you want insights. So it is those insights you work with. Sometimes you build models. You would have a report, but at the end of the day, your product is going to be insights, a model, a report, something that informs business that this is what you could do to make business better, to meet your objectives, right? The objectives will have to be clearly stated. Now, there are certain tools that we use to communicate with the machines when it comes to crunching the numbers. One of them is Python. Another one is SQL. And then we have certain tools like we have a lot of other tools that I may not mention their names here, but the ecosystem is slightly different here. So we're talking about data on the blockchain, so Web3 data. It follows the same process. It's the only thing that is going to change is your objectives, and that objectives will always drive what you're going to find as data and what you're going to find as your results. But it's always going to be the same. And if you think about it, somebody said that everybody is a data analyst. I mean, on some level, yes, because first of all, we all have problems, right? And I mean, to the degree that we use data to solve our problems, it remains a debate. But whoever effectively tries to sit down to get facts, to use those facts to solve their problems, will effectively will almost effectively succeed. So that's the flow basically. Yeah, I was just reminded to make sure I cover that so that we're on the same page when it comes to what we're doing here. All right, so I'm going to pause and ask if you have any questions. Yes.
So, I have a case. Okay, and there's talking about solving problems with data. Are we doing blockchain specific or use case specific?
Okay, so that's a very fantastic question. And first of all, now we are going to be doing a use case specific. What we're doing today is getting ourselves comfortable with the platform we'll be using to solve those use cases. So what we're doing here is we're basically exploring for now, understanding the environment, knowing we're going to dig into the blockchain itself, look at it and then learn how to query it. Yeah. Awesome. All right, so like every data analysis project, you will need data. I mean, that's the first word. So the data we will be using is data that is stored on the blockchain. So why don't we open up the blockchain and see what is inside? So this is the Ethereum blockchain. If you click on it, you will see a lot of things, right? You will see a lot of things. Now, the first thing you will see is Ethereum blocks. Now, that's a table that is dedicated to all the different blocks. Do you remember when we were talking about blocks last week? Yes, so we drew different blocks, and then we talked about how these blocks connect to each other. If you click on the blocks still, if you click on each block, you will see certain. Yes, you said these are transactions. Yes, yes. So whatever happens on the blockchain, whatever activity happens is a transaction. Now, to be more specific, what we're looking at here are variables or columns, right? So you have a column that is telling you about the time that you occurred. It's telling you the block number, the gas limits, the gas use, difficulty, and so on and so forth. So if our task was to go into the Ethereum block and start to check out what is happening within the blocks, this is where we would want to be. We would write the query in a way that lets us look at the blocks, and it has been made really easy. You wouldn't have to type too much. If you click on these double arrows, it will just send the particular table. Yes, the particular table you're interested in to the query pane, right? So that's for blocks. You can also take a look at transactions, so you can see all the transactions that are happening on the Ethereum network. So if you click on this, it will tell you what was the value that was exchanged, where did it come from, who was it sent to, what is the block hash. You remember when we talked about block hash last week? Yeah, so the hash is always a unique number, and it increments. Right, so this is what we talked about last week and we're looking at it on Dune. Now, another thing that I would want us to look at is I'm going to attempt to explain, these data types, because with data there's something called data types. So different data is represented differently. So I'm going to use an example of if we're going to represent your name. What's your name, sir? Yes. Yes. So if you were going to represent your name, is it on the computer? Is it going to be text based or number based? Text, right? Now, if David was going to tell somebody his age, for example, or if you're going to tell somebody how much you want them to send to you, what data type would would it be? It would be a number. So our 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 data, our columns, you can think of these as columns. Our columns are represented differently because they have different nature. So like block time, for example, what data type is it? Yes, timestamp, because that is the most reasonable and the most effective way to store that type of data. Now you will see things like big ints, decimal, and then what else? You see varchar, you see boolean, you see var binary, you see an array, and so on and so forth. It is important for us to understand that now the data type will also depend on the type of visual you can build. So let me give you guys an example. If you are looking at value, say you want to see the value or the volume of transactions that have been made from the 7th of May to the 31st of May, you can, if it is a number, so if it's a decimal, you can plot it as a line plot and you can aggregate it. But it will be difficult for you to take something like type, for example, that is a character and then plot it. You will need to find as a line plot, you need to find a more suitable, graph that can represent the aggregate of those numbers. Questions, guys?
I actually
Say that again.
want to aggregate
Not if is say the value, for example.
aggregate value based on
You don't want to see what you don't want to see how they are changing with time. So something that is so a data type that is a number will let us will let us aggregate or will let us see how they are changing on a line plot over time. But something that is a character, something that is an object, we don't let us typically manipulate them like that. You need to think of a different graph or a different visual for them. So the I guess the take home from here is always keep in mind it's important to have certain domain knowledge when we're handling data because the type of dashboard you build or the type of visual you build in your dashboard will depend on the type of data you're working with, basically. All right, so there are also other columns like Ethereum logs. So Ethereum logs is basically telling us the logs that were emitted from the emitted logs or events from contracts. Ethereum traces are internal transactions and then stack level data basically. So you might want to spend some time looking at the transactions that happen on Ethereum. So I'm going to select this. So right now we'll be writing our first query. Do you have any questions? Are we still together? Have I lost anyone? You have this smile on your face. Yes, what's your name? Kemi. Um, so have you been able to set up your Gmail account? Okay, where are you currently? Okay, yes, Shegun tomorrow. You have your hand up, please. Go ahead
Gideon,
and speak.
Gideon, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Well done.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, so my question is, this data on this blockchain, right? Are they historical data or they are real-time data?
Yeah, very good question. So, they're real-time data. They update as time passes. So, yeah, you can go as far back in history with them, but you can also see like really recent data. So the dashboard I showed earlier had data from May 31st. So yes, it's real-time data.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
Also, yeah, great question. All right, so Kemi, have you got into this place? Okay, yes. Adam Abdul Rashid, please go ahead and speak.
Yeah, sorry. I'm kind of lost. I don't know how it got to this state, so that's just what I'm trying to ask. But I'm on my Doom account right now.
Okay, no problems. Where are you currently? Can you tell me where you are?
Yeah, I'm on just the first page, the menu page. Yeah,
Have you signed into Dune?
yeah, I've signed in already. I have an account.
Okay, so to get to this place, you would want to. So there's a plus button. This may be collapsed. This first thing may be collapsed. There's a plus button here. If you click on create, select new query.
Okay, right.
Now it will take you to the data explorer. You so I didn't explain certain things here. You will see a heading for curated data. So all of this has already been curated, prepared for you to work with. I have decided to throw us into the deep end so that we can see what the raw blockchain data looks like. But here you will see curated data. The next heading is, your own data. So the things you've worked on, um, whatever materialized views you've worked on, and this current query. Now, where I want us to go, or where it should be, is blockchain data. So you will select raw blockchain data and then look for Ethereum.
Yeah, I'm on same page with you now.
Awesome. So once you select Ethereum, click on it again, and you will see the different tables that are in the Ethereum blockchain. So this is like it's a big database with different tables in them. The one that we'll be concerned with is going to be the transaction table, at least for today. So if you select transactions, you will see different things. We'll be concerned with certain columns here. I mean, everything here is important, but what will set you apart from a data analyst and what will set you apart as a really good data analyst is to know what you're looking for. So you don't always need every single column. So what we'll be interested in right now is the from column, the two columns. So the from column is typically telling us what is the from column talking about? Let me ask. So we're talking about a transaction table, right? And we have this column saying from. So what could it be giving us a sense of transfer, right? So who it came from, the address it came from, and then the two is telling us the address is going to. And then there's also gas price. Did we talk about gas price last time? We did. Okay. Um, so gas price is basically a fee for is basically a fee that is going to be paid. So think of it like charges. So when a transaction is made, there are certain intermediaries that make sure that we're there to make sure that that transaction happened. So you would pay a fee for that transaction to happen. We talked about last week. We talked about the validators on the blockchain, so the people that make sure that they suggest new blocks. So there are certain people in the ecosystem that ensure that the network keeps running, and for this they will stake some of their Ethereum to ensure that it keeps going. So gas price is a fee paid, a very small amount in a way paid for the transactions to actually happen. So that money is accumulated and it goes to the validators. All right, so and then there's also block time. So block time is the timestamp that will tell us when the transaction actually happens. So let's go ahead and build our first query. So we're going to use SQL. We're going to use SQL to do this. And one thing that's one clause, one keyword that we'll always use is the select keyword. So you might as well just go ahead and write select. So select. So this is the query we are doing. We're asking it to go into the blockchain and do some form of selection for us. So the first thing we want to write is the select. So select all. Now we use the asterisk to tell Python that you want to select everything, to tell SQL, sorry, that you want to select everything. So select all. And then we'll use the from. So from tells us that there is a database that we want to select from. So now you can just press this arrow, or you write Ethereum.transaction, so it knows what to do here. Now, because there is a lot of historic data and a lot of real-time data, we're going to try to limit all of this because it's going to be a lot if we say we want to select everything. So select all here is telling us select all these columns from this database. So everything that has happened inside, we want to see all of it. So we're going to limit our selection to a certain number of rows, and we'll say, let us limit it by 5, and then we'll finish with a semicolon. So this is how you would write a simple SQL query. So what this is saying in English is, I want to see 5 rows of everything that has happened in the Ethereum transaction database. So I'm going to go ahead and press run, and let's see what happens. So once you press run and you see query results and it tells you that you have 5 rows, it means it has selected something. And the question is, what has it selected? Where is it? How can we look at it, right? How can we take a look at it? Now, the first thing it does is it will give you a table. Now, I want to pause and ask you guys, can you recognize whose query has run? Okay, so can you recognize any of these columns that is proposing here? Right, so they are the same columns that are here because we asked you to select all. Now we have the option to limit the columns we want to see. So you could just hide certain columns and say, look, I just want to see, for example, I want to see block time, from address to address, gas price, and gas use, for example. And we can actually go ahead and do that. So we're going to hide the columns that are not block time, they're not from to gas price and then gas use. So let's go ahead and do that. So gas limits low. And if you begin to notice, depending on the type of column you have, there are certain there are certain suggestions that you can actually do. So depending on the data type that you're dealing with, so maximum paper gas, hide, priority, high norms. Now, a more an easier way to have done this would be to just select in the select statement, we would have just selected the columns that we're interested in, right? So let's go and hide the ones we do not want to see and then work with what we want to see, right? Yeah, we want to see from, we want to see two. Block hash, we're not interested in that right now. Either is data type. If you are ever doing this, just go ahead and select the columns because this is already feeling like a pain. All right, so you can even decide to give your table a name. So you can call this, so instead of query results, you can call this my first query, for example, or my first table. My first eat table. So, and you can go ahead and give it whatever description you want, right? So have we started doing any analysis per se? Yes, can you hear me?
Not really. Realistically, yes.
Well, I mean, this is part of the process where you select the table. Now we can take a look at. So now we've limited our columns, the tables we're interested in. We can decide to grab a line plot, one of the common visuals you will see. So you can decide to select a line chart, for example. So if you go to new, you go ahead and select line chart. Now for the line chart, you will need to specify what you would see on the horizontal axis and on the vertical axis. So say we want to see block time, we want to measure how the gas price or the value is changing over time. Yeah. There's a cable. Right, so you can customize your line charts by selecting what you want to see on the X column and what you want to see on the Y column. So instead of block date, you're going to change this to block time first. And then instead of block version hashes, you would want to see value. Right. So the reason why I'm using a line chart to demonstrate how you translate this query admin to a line is because it's very easy to explain. So it's telling you that, by the way, we selected only 5 rows. So those 5 rows will span from 6, or they span from 6 to 6. And this is basically giving us the value over that time. So you can see the reason why the line chart is easy to explain is because you will see the rise and the fall as easy as it is. So the value of eta that was transacted within this time kind of rose in the, you would say, later in the day. So in the morning it was low, and then it gently rose to this time. So you want to see a bigger picture, you can get a wider time frame and then see what values are happening. In fact, if you have enough data, you can get enough data here. What you can do is try to find patterns, try to find out where the value is usually highest. Does season have anything to do with the rise and fall of it? So this type of analysis would be good for somebody who trades, somebody like me. You want to understand, okay, first of all, people trade more around a specific time of day, of months, of year, or week. And then you start to explain how it is significant for what, or you start to look for connections. So do things like, borons affect it? Do things like other news? So there's something we call off-chain data. So off-chain data is data that has something to do with what is happening on the blockchain, but it's not on chain, so it's not on the blockchain. One source will be what happens on Twitter, for example. So there is a lot of you will find a lot of information about certain projects, about certain blockchains on Twitter. That's what you think of as off-chain data, and then other websites that have information about prices, total value logged, and the rest of them. All right. So who has succeeded in building their own chart as well? Yeah. So you can tweak this. So here's the heads up. Okay. So I think someone has their hands up. Yes, Adam Abdul Rashid.
So I actually built my online chat, but it's showing me something different from yours.
Okay, I can't hear you very well. Could you say that again?
Yeah, I said I built my own chat also, the line chat, but it's not similar to yours. With the curve, it's different.
Okay. How is it different? Talk to me.
So it's a bit let me check it. So the x-axis was the block term and the y-axis is value, but it started from up and it goes higher to like thousands before it now comes. So the
Okay,
value
so
is way
your
higher.
x-axis. Okay. So your X column, what did you set it as what?
Yeah, block time.
Blockchain. Okay, block time.
Yeah,
And the Y column,
is value.
and it displays something different.
Yes. So what I
How did
probably so what happened is like it's starting the it's measuring from 0 instead of from 1,000 plus. It's starting from 0 to the 1,000 something.
I see. I
Like
see.
the yeah.
Okay. That's interesting. Now I wonder why. Let me see what you wrote. Who else has something different from what they are saying? You people have not been following instructions. Okay. I see. I see. Okay. I see what's happening. Now, yours is from, I've been playing, okay, so first of all, I've been playing around with my own Dune, so I see what is happening. So yours is collecting data from December 25th to January 4th. I wonder why that's the latest data you're having. Interesting stuff.
Because of the changes that the effects in the difference in
Data, yes, I absolutely agree. That's interesting. How is your own train? Yes, it looks nice. Yours is just trained for one date. Look at something else. It's on the query. Run your query again. This time around, add don't limit. So add 40 rules. But yes, Hassan, you're right. It is basically different data. Why, right? Somebody asked why. Yeah. Yes, I've turned mine to 40. Yes, so I'm going to share a query with you guys. Everybody copy that query so that we'll have the same data. Just give me 1 minute. Yeah, thanks for pointing that out, Adams. What that really we'll get into some territory where we'll write a little more complicated queries. Okay, so let me tweak it a bit. So select everything from Ethereum transactions. We're going to keep the limit to, let's say, 100. Now, before we limit it, yes, you can go ahead. We're going to add one more clause, or maybe a couple more clauses. Now, the where is going to specify a filter. So we're going to be more specific where we want it to be. So where our block time, it might tell me it doesn't know what block time is. It's going to be greater than or equal to 20. Right? Me 1, me first. Now I'll have to break this, like really break it down, make it look really proper and more readable. So from awesome. And then we're going to use and. So it's going to give us the lower and the upper limit. And then block time is less than 2025. Okay, so let's see. This month has not even happened yet. 05, 31, right. And then let's use one order by. By the way, there is a query, there's an AI that can help you generate queries somewhere. So you just tell it what you want. Oh yeah, it's up here. You tell it what you want and it will, it will give it to you. Right, so let's run this and see what we have. So I'm getting an error. Getting an error is telling me that the data type that I'm trying to work with, I've made it a varchar. So it's like a string, and I cannot use this comparison operator. So I'll have to cast it. I have to do some things on it. This is going to look a little more complex. Bear with me, guys. I'll explain everything I'm doing. Please hold on for a moment. Timestamp is supposed to. Yeah, the transactions doesn't have a problem. You'll be very specific on what I'm doing. Address. It's worthless. So just these points. Everything. Sorry guys, my query is creating yes. Yes, please. Go ahead.
What's that street? So using the
Yes.
decided not like kids.
Yeah. And then same for this one, I think. I'm written so many things here that I don't want to explain.
Just very good fast.
Yeah, yeah. Hmm. Oh, okay. So I'm doing something else. So it's to and from, not to address and from address. So we're going to default to our asterisk, select everything. Let's keep it simple first. Yeah. What's your name? Solomon. I think your wisdom is going to work. Okay, so let's take a look at let's take a look at the this new query that we have. And I'm tempted to just backdate this a bit so that let's go ahead and create a new line chart. And then select our log time. value. Let me check square. So it is less than or equal to 8 digits. Right. Right. Yes, Okunjimi. Okunjimi, please go ahead and speak. Yeah, Okunjimi, the bandwidth is kind of low. So yeah.
I think we're going to be taking a break for now. Anyone that has any question can just send a message in the group chat. So we're going to be looking at the message. So while we're taking a break, please just type in your message and we're going to answer it. So any I think Jimmy, I'm not trying to do anything from my end. Okay. So anybody that is having issue creating the account, I think you should just create the account without using your Google, without creating it directly from your from your Google. So just create it the normal way on create create add your Google account, the username and stuff like that. So I think that way it is going to be. So I'm just going to be taking just be resuming back 3:45 and then by 4 we'll be done. Please, if you have any question, you can just ask. You can unmute the mic and ask. Okay, Nicholas on okay, please you can go.
Okay, thank you very much for this. It's really a great one. Like you said, like if I recall, he said something about something like, let me say, an AI that you can use to generate prompts for that is can generate query that you just paste on the dashboard and then you run it. So the AI he didn't give us the name of the AI. So that's
I
you
get your
understand?
question where you are saying the name of the AI that you are going to use to generate query.
Yeah, just like
So,
yeah.
yeah. So one thing I want you to know is that there is an AI that is embedded into the Dune platform. So that AI,
Okay.
I think that AI allows you to just generate query. But one thing I want you to do is just that you should go and do research. You should actually know what you want before you ask the AI anything, because if you don't know what you are looking for or what you want to query, the AI is not actually going to you're not going to get the prompt that you want. So I think okay, like today, said we are working on the transaction table. So what do you want to do on the transaction table? What are you actually looking for? So when you know what you are looking for, you'll be able to generate the prompt that you want. And you can also see that even before you start using the prompt, there is like an example of the way the prompt should be. So just one, know what you want to query, which protocol ecosystem do you want to work on, and what are you looking for in the ecosystem. So when you know that, you can actually just generate the prompt. So at the top of where you are writing your query, your query environment, you see something like edit SQL with prompts. So this edit SQL with prompts, you can just write, okay, I want to generate so prompt for this ecosystem, and it's going to generate it for you. But at times it's not always correct. So what I always advise people is that you should write the query and then you should use the prompts to correct it. Because this Dune, what Dune is actually using is Trino SQL. So there are some queries that will not work because of there are some syntax that will not work because of the way it is. So it might not work on Dune, but when you use the AI to correct it, it's going to adjust it to the way it is going to work.
All right. Thank you very much, because
All right. So thank you. So does anybody has any other question?
sorry. Another question. This line chart, this chart that is showing now. Okay. Okay. You can change the chart to, like, let me say, bar charts, pie charts, then to give you the values under. Because this line chart now, it's only when to get the values, you must use your mouse to, like, you understand, to touch it. And if you do some research for, let me say, for like a project, or let me say all these hackathons, you have to give them the figures, like the values. So I don't really know which of them is preferable for those kind of stuff.
So
You get my dig?
okay. So if I get your question, you are saying you want to change the chart, or you don't understand the
Okay,
chart.
like what I'm saying, this line chart there, for you to see the values, you have to use the mouse. Is it same for other bar charts, pie charts? Because there are some analysis you will do. You have to give them values, and this line charts, you must touch it first on the Dune. So which one is preferable for submission? You want to submit exactly.
Okay. I think someone wants to answer that question. So I can't really hear you, but I think Oyeshino should answer the question.
Hi, good evening. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. To answer the question, I want to repeat what Gideon had said earlier. When you are going into on-chain analysis or any analysis generally, data visualization, you have to know what, first of all, is the intuition behind what you're doing. What's the background information? Then secondly, you may have to do a bit of research into what data visualization is all about. When you mentioned
I would want to ask a question if probably you can respond. Have you done data visualization before? Hello, the person who asked the question, can you answer?
No. I'm not. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I've not done it before. This is my yeah. So
Okay. So in data visualization, you have different aspects of the visualization. So what you're actually mentioning or talking about is more like they call it labels. So you can turn on labels, you can turn off labels on any data visualization application.
okay.
So you don't actually need your mouse to go there to see what the value is. So just like Ahmed has said, do more research into what data visualization is all about. Even, and I think the last one of the first workshops we also had by Indy Freke, he said something. He said you have to know about data visualization a bit before you come onto Dune. Do you get the point? So know the foundation of data visualization, so you have a challenge understanding how Dune works. So Dune is just more like your Web3 version of data analysis, so and data visualization. So it's just basically it, but it's based on the SQL language. So for those who have done Tableau is based on Viz SQL. So for those who are BI, you have to have the basic foundation knowledge of data visualization before jumping on Dune. So there has to be a bit of a background knowledge on data visualization. So
Thank you very much.
it's not something, yeah. So it's not something too hard. All you just have to do is
Yeah.
do a bit of research on data visualization, which data, just like the speaker earlier said, Gideon said, what is the intuition behind this data? What is the context behind this data that I'm working with? So that context will determine. So not all visualizations even need labels. So once you know the context, then you know what to visualize, be it line charts, be it histograms, be it bar charts, or even pie charts. Thank you very much.
Thank you, bro. Big up.
I'm done here.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much for that, Mr. Oyeshino. I hope Nicholas got his question answered. So please, if any other person has any question, you can just ask. We just have 5 minutes left for video people.
All right, hey guys, GM, everyone. Um, I just want to say there is a limit to if you're using there are certain credits that you get when when you operate a free account on Dune. Um, and there are certain limits you will get. So for the free tier, the query engine size is less than the one for the medium and the large. So for the free tier, you have credits allocated to you. And for the free one doesn't take any credits at all. The medium one is when you want queries to run faster and when you want them to run more reliably. And I mean, the large one will speed up more complex workloads you have. The point is sometimes you might want to really run heavy queries and you will need to use the medium, or your free tier will take a while to load. That's because there are a lot of queries. Other people are also querying data on the blockchain. Now, to respond to the question that I'm sorry I didn't get the name, but there was a question about moving the mouse to check, and Ahmed and Noishin already answered really well. But there's the option here to show data labels. So when you show data labels, you will see what is happening. And this is not what we are looking for, right? So we've not run our query well. Oh, we're not plotting this really well just yet. Or we'll figure it out. So we know we have 100 rows of data as we have requested. So what we are looking for is, so how we got here is we're looking for data that spans a specific amount of time. Because when we queried the data with 5 rows, everybody was getting something different. So we actually want to query a specific time frame so that we can actually compare. So the query here is supposed to give us Ethereum transactions so everything here in the Ethereum transactions where our date is, sorry, our date is greater than or equal to, the date starts from 1st of May, 2024, and then it ends exactly at May 30th, 2024. So if you go ahead and run this query, you will get 100 rows. Solomon helped us, with casting these dates, because if you'll see that a bar chart was using the date column, we're able to get this. So we have 100 rows of it. Now, if we want to, so let's switch back to our no, this is fine. So these line charts are not chatting. Let's remove them. Yep. Let's take this one off as well. All right. Yeah, so from the observations we have, let's try to generate a new, okay, and let me just, so that I don't gloss over what we are supposed to actually cover today. We know what the select does now. It literally does what it says it will do, so it will select. And if you wanted to discriminate certain columns, we will specify their names here. But we are using the asterisks because, yes, correct. One one unit of reward for you. Now the from will tell us where we want to get it from. Now this is where we want to get it from the Ethereum.transactions. The where clause here is here for filter. So it helps us perform a particular filter on the data. So once again, it's not just every single thing. And then order by will basically order the blocks for us. So you have one block appearing in ascending. You have the blocks appearing in ascending order. Okay, so limit 100. We already know what limit 100 does. It will give us 100 rows. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and create a confident we can do a line chart here. But do we have this down, this query? Okay, awesome. So let's go update time. I'm still seeing just one. Okay, so I think there's a problem with our query because as I run the mouse, so as I run the mouse along this x-axis, it still holds the first of May. Let me tweak this a bit so it's just 1 week. Just a moment, guys. Just a moment, guys. I just realized that I'm not sharing the screen on Meet. Let me fix that. Yeah, I stopped sharing. Yeah, let me fix that, guys. Now let's assume a lot of things happen within our block. So let's make it just one thing. So I really would like to see so let's take aspirant doesn't change, but let's see what value does over time. Models. Now the daytime, the block time comes in this format. Yes, so I'm going to make it just 1 day. The block time is it's going to this date. Yeah. Yeah. There's no way. Yeah, you can say something. Yeah, yes. I know we got anything to reduction. So that's fine. I'm going to do something. I'll quickly go back to the query that I built. I think I built this. Um, looking for the most recent one. Saved. So let's check out what is the adoption trend. Okay, so this has a lot more. This has a lot more, lines of code. But the idea here is if you if you see a query that you think will suit your purpose, you find a query, you might do something. It's called a fork. So forking a query means you are taking a copy of that query so that you can use to do something else. I think I actually forked this query, but I don't know where I got it from as well. Um, but I grabbed it because I wanted to check what was happening on the StarkNet ecosystem, right? You have this smile on your face. Are you on another conversation? Okay, okay. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is you may not be very proficient just yet with writing SQL. It will be good to know what you're looking for. It gives you direction. And if you know exactly what you're looking for, you can go and then grab what you need and build. Now, let me look for the dashboard I made with this because you make visuals. So there was a bar chart, a line chart, and a couple of other charts. So let's check out the line chart. It means I will have to run this query. Okay, so this is what the line chart looked like in the first quarter of 2025. It may not look like so much, but you can, the same way you went to new and selected a query, you might also go to create, keep calling it new, you go to create and then create a new dashboard. And it's on that dashboard that you can now keep adding whatever visual you have built to a dashboard. So we will definitely go deeper into more SQL queries, more dashboards. But I hope that I've given you guys a good overview and a little bit of technical depth into what we'll be doing. Hopefully, you also understand that it's important to have some domain knowledge in yeah, no, in Web3 analytics, in blockchain, so that you will know exactly what you're going for. So I'm going to also pause and take questions. Okay, okay. What is the queries that I had? I was just told that I might have to use Medium. All right, guys. In the absence of any questions, we will call it a day, and then I'll see you guys next week. I hope that I've managed to spark some interest in web analytics, and I hope to see you guys here again next week, where we try to do we dive deeper into doing web analytics using Dune.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. It's nice having you guys here till the end, and I hope to see you guys next week. GM.
Yes.